Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Frank here. We're continuing to work on the Cub Cadet bush hog. So in the first several episodes of this series, we built a hydraulically operated Category 1 3-point hitch for a 1972 Cub Cadet Model 128 with a rear PTO and a reverser. And the past 2 or 3 episodes, we built a bush hog, a 4-foot rotary mower, rotary cutter. And I'm at the point now where the bush hog's basically done, mechanically done, except for a coat of final paint. But I'm getting ready to hook it up to the tractor and test it out. So there's some attachment points that need to be adjusted just to make sure everything fits up properly. So we're going to work on that stuff, get the mower hooked up, and see. The big question that I left you with at the end of last episode was, when I operate the hydraulic lift, will the front of the mower pick up or will the bush hog pick up? Or a little bit of both. So we're going to find out. All right, stick around. All right, so I misjudged the size of this link by an inch. So I take this off, make two new ones. So just too short. You can see the distance there. So one of the things that this link does is it allows the top link to move back and forth to adjust to give it a little bit of flexibility to follow terrain. Okay, so I need to make two new links like this, only twice as long. So there is a lot of slag on the back of these pieces, and while you expect some, this is way more than you would normally expect to see, and usually it's caused by cutting too slowly. And I think that's what I've done, is I had it set up for 1/4 inch, and this is 3/16. Now the slag, or dross, comes off pretty easily if you push it toward the edge. So you got to get a hold on it, but this is a lot worse than I usually see. I mean, it all chips off easily, but all right, we'll hook these up. All right, I'm going to start the tractor up and pick it up. Pick the bush hog up for the first time. So I have not tried this yet. I have no idea. That was as far as the arms would lift up. So I'm too high off the ground here. All right, so it picked it up. It didn't pick the tractor up at all. I didn't feel like that was any problem. But the tail wheel was still on the ground. Get some air in here. So the lift arms don't come up quite high enough to pick the whole thing up. Part of it probably due to the position of the top link. If I made the top link shorter, then it might do that. So I might need to adjust that. But it picks everything up but the tail wheel. So that's okay. So I've got a couple of things I can do here. One is the pins where the lift arm engages the bush hog are up here. I can lower them. If I lower it 3 or 4 inches, just drill new holes in this bracket. I'll put bolts where those current pins are, and that will keep the top link in its current position and lower these arms. I maybe could lower the top link as well. So I'd have some options there. So that's one thing I can do. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Let's see what we can do about that. I'm going to re-drill the holes for the lower arm pins in the bush hog frame. And I mean, it's a 7/8 inch pin. So I've got a 15/16 drill bit here, just for clearance. There we go. All right, so this is a magnetic drill. This is the Evolution brand. And it takes, these are called Weldon shank, W-E-L-D-O-N, shank bits. They're annular cutters. They cut a circle, so there's a plug in the middle. This pin is spring located and pushes out the plug when the cut's done. I mean, the advantage of a bit like this is that it doesn't cut as much metal. It only cuts the ring, the annulus. So it does have 2 flats on it and 2 set screws in the chuck, if you can call it a chuck. Not really a conventional chuck, but there we go. Now, the drill does come with a Jacobs chuck, which fits in this, fits in here, and you can use conventional drill bits with that. It's basically a drill press. It has a magnetic base. Looks like my Rubru just walked in here. So it has a magnetic base, and then it has, you know, a rack and pinion arrangement for feeding the drill bit. So, and you see this is spring loaded. All right, so we're going to go over to the frame. I think there's room for this. We're going to mount it and drill a couple of holes lower down on the frame so that the tractor has more ability to pick the frame up. So I'm coming down 3 inches from the previous hole. And I'm just using this as a clamp to support the magnet until I get it in the right position. I think I'm right there on the center punch. All right, this top link is at its limit of length. I would like to be able to make it shorter. All the threads are in this section, so I can't just cut it shorter. I have to cut a section out of the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave these screwed in, and I'm going to cut a 3-inch section. Now it'll also cut through the threaded rods, but that won't matter. And then we'll weld it back together. All right, the exact dimension's not really that important. All right, I got my PTO shaft from my generator, but end on it. This is 35 millimeter. I don't know. Fits fine. At this end, it's the right length. I'm going to need to buy or make an adapter. All right, I'm going to try to pick this up again. We'll just see how it goes. I think I'm going to take these links out and fasten these braces directly to the tractor, because it's not going to pick up the rear end that way. Though for the uses for this, you really don't need to take the tail wheel off the ground. There's really, I mean, you can drive it around with the tail wheel on the ground. That's not an issue. But I am interested to know if it will pick it up. I'm going to change these braces over and bring you right back. All right, I've got those bolted together. Okay, so it picked it up, but the front wheels were almost off the ground, pretty much as expected. So as long as you don't try to pick the tail wheel up off the ground, I think it's usable that way. To look at adding some weights. I still have this issue with, let me pull the dollies out here. All right, I think with, well, I was going to say a driver in the driver's seat, but that's again over the fulcrum and not really much help. So I would say that, you know, if you're going to try to pick the tail wheel up off the ground, the entire weight, you lose most of your steering capability in the front of the tractor. As long as you're dragging the tail wheel and have some weight on the tail wheel, which is this wheel here at the back. And there's my Brew. What you doing, Brew? See, this is the tail wheel here. So, what are you doing? You coming to check on me? These guys have been in and out every 20 minutes all day long. All day long. Such good boys. Keeping an eye on me. All right, let's get rid of these. Don't need these anymore. We can pick it up with the tractor and move it around. So, all right, I think I've solved all the issues with the 3-point hitch linkage. So, shortening the top link. Come here, Brew. Come here. Okay, you're going the other way. Lowering these connection points. With this fastened solidly, then, I mean, I can pick it up, but to be honest, other than picking up the front end, letting the tail wheel drag on the ground, it's fine. And that linkage allows the unit to Brew. I got the roll-up door open and Brew's exploring. Come here. Come here. Come here. What do you think you're doing? You're not going outside. No, you're not. You're not. Those doors go out to the lane, not to the yard, backyard, which is fenced. So this is, I think everything's going to work out here. I'm happy. The spacing of the PTO and all that, it's going to work. I just need to connect to this Worst case scenario, I make an adapter. I make a 35 millimeter to spline adapter, which, I mean, maybe I can buy one, maybe I'll make one. We'll see. Hey guys, that's going to wrap up this episode, and I'm going to say that the bush hog makes up to the tractor great right now. Moving those lift points, shortening the top link, I think fixed the issues that I had with the ability to lift a bush hog. With the terrain following linkage on the top shaft, top link, you know, it will pick up the bush hog, but the tail wheel still is on the ground. Removing that linkage and making it a hard connection, then it does pick up the bush hog and tail wheel completely off the ground. Now that makes the front of the tractor pretty light. The wheels don't come off the ground, but they're not far from that. So following terrain, cutting, if you were in a rough terrain area, maybe going over a hill, the weight of picking up the bush hog behind you as you crest a hill you might lose steerage on the front of the tractor. So I think it could use some weight, so I need to look at that. But I'm going to try to cut some grass with it before I add weights, so we'll just see how it behaves. I think that makes sense to do that, because it's perfectly usable as it is with the tail wheel, you know, on the ground. You don't have to pick up the whole bush hog, you just need to pick up the front half of it. So we'll come back next time solving the issue with the gearbox input shaft, which is 1 3/8 diameter, cylindrical. It does not mate up with the PTO output, which has a spline, female spline, 1 3/8 spline. So I need to get an adapter, if there is one, that's from smooth 1 3/8, cylindrical 1 3/8 to the 1 3/8 spline, or make one. If I have to, I'll make one. It's interesting that with my calipers, I measured the shaft 1.376 or something, 377, and those calipers measure for, I think in a previous video I had done a comparison, they measure 3 or 4 thousandths over. So converting it to millimeters, it comes out to 35 millimeters. 1 3/8 is pretty darn close to 35 millimeters. So we'll come back, resolving that issue, and we'll go cut some grass with this thing. So I'm looking forward to that. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already. That'd help out the channel. And we'll see you guys next week.